Well, Duggar and his wife were in tears this morning as he was being handcuffed while inside the courtroom. It was an emotional goodbye as both Duggar and his wife said, "I love you," while he was being taken into custody.
How's Josh going to cope, Hannah?
Local to national media were all trying to get a word in with Duggar's family as they left the courthouse this morning, but no comment. While inside the courtroom, the jury delivered a handwritten guilty verdict for both receipt and possession of child pornography. The U.S. Attorney's Office calling this case a milestone in combating child pornography and child abuse.
It's a milestone for a lot of reasons, but a couple of the most important ones that come to mind is that it first and foremost shows that no person is above the law, regardless of their status in society, regardless of their wealth, regardless of their fame. This case shows that no person is above the law.
Throughout the week-and-a-half-long trial, the prosecution called several witnesses to the stand, from the Department of Justice, Homeland Security, to computer forensics experts.
This work is worth it. It is worth it because these are the types of cases that help us accomplish our goal of protecting the children in the communities of Western Arkansas.
Last week, law enforcement agents testified that the child pornography found on Duggar's HP computer were downloaded through the dark web in May of 2019. They testified that through the IP address, they traced the downloaded porn back to Duggar's used car lot business.
Children who are photographed and videoed in manners such as this are the victims. And every time their videos and photos are traded online, uploaded and downloaded from the internet, they are victimized all over again.
During the trial, dozens of images and videos of child pornography found on Duggar's HP computer were both shown and described to the jury, as well as a recording between Duggar and special agents in November of 2019 during a search warrant. All of this evidence leading up to the jury's final decision, a guilty verdict.
That demonstrates that we are in this fight for the long haul, and we will continue to expend all the resources that are necessary to protect the children in Western Arkansas.
And jury deliberations lasted several hours, beginning yesterday just after noon. They came back this morning at 8:30, delivering the final verdict just after 10 o'clock this morning. Now in the courtroom, we saw many of Duggar's family, including some brothers and sisters, his wife, and his father. And when that verdict was read aloud, many of them wrapping their arms around each other in support. We're live in Fayetteville. I'm Kendall Ashman, 4029 News.
Well, thanks, Kendall, for those details from inside the courtroom.
We continue our team coverage now with Emma Claybrook at the Washington County Jail. Emma, what's next for Duggar?
Well, Brandon and Jamie, Duggar is currently being held here at the Washington County Jail. The U.S. Attorney's Office says he can't go to a federal prison until he's sentenced, which should happen sometime in the next 90 days. This video shows the moment Josh Duggar was booked into the Washington County Jail after a jury found him guilty of both receiving and possessing child pornography this morning. Duggar's attorneys say they plan to appeal the guilty verdict. The president of the Arkansas Association of Criminal Defense Lawyers says Duggar's attorneys could appeal for several reasons.
You wanted something into evidence that wasn't allowed into evidence based on argument that was made. And a ruling that was done by the judge, that would be one of the things that you could potentially do there. And would it have made a difference in the trial and such? There's all kinds of things, especially over the course of a 6-day long trial. You can have all kinds of things that have come up throughout it.
Because the possession of child pornography count is a less serious charge than the receiving count, Judge Timothy Brooks says Duggar will only be sentenced for the receiving of child pornography charge. But the U.S. Attorney's Office says Duggar is still facing a maximum of 40 years in federal prison.
They're probably just looking at, hey, what is the more severe one? And whatever that may be, that's going to be the controlling issue for whatever the sentence will be. It has the higher severity of punishment that is there, and the judge has that discretion to do that. And that's what they've elected to do, and that's very common.
The U.S. Attorney's Office says Duggar will be held at a local jail until sentencing, but they can't disclose that location because of safety concerns. Again, he cannot be sent to a federal prison until he is sentenced. And the U.S. Attorney's Office says that should happen sometime in the next 90 days. Reporting live in Fayetteville, Emma Claybrook, 4029 News.
All right, great reports there. Valuable insight also into what happens next.
Finally, wrapping up our coverage of the Duggar trial tonight, 4029's Lydia Fielder is showing us what it took to get to today.
We know that between May 14th and May 16th of 2019, child pornography was downloaded to the desktop computer at Josh Duggar's business. Once federal investigators were made aware of this, they executed a search warrant on Josh Duggar's business, Wholesale Motor Cars, in November of 2019. It wasn't until April of this year, 2021, that Duggar was arrested and booked into Washington County Jail, charged with 2 counts of receiving and possessing child pornography. The next day, Duggar pleaded not guilty in his detention hearing and was released on bond to a third-party custodian, in his case, a family friend, a few days later. Duggar's trial was originally scheduled to start in July, but it was pushed back to November of this year when his defense attorneys asked for more time to review evidence.
The couple released a statement tonight saying in part, quote, "Today, God's grace, through the love and prayers of so many, has sustained us. Our hearts and prayers are with anyone who has ever been harmed through child sexual abuse materials. In the days ahead, we will do all we can to surround our daughter-in-law Anna and their children with love and support. As parents, we will never stop praying for Joshua and loving him as we do all of our children." Today was day 8 of the trial, and it was an emotional day for many people, both inside and outside the courthouse in Fayetteville. 5 News reporter Michael Wilson joins us live in studio now with a timeline of what happened and what's next for Duggar. Micah?
Erica, Josh Duggar is currently being held at the Washington County Jail, which is where he will stay until he's sentenced. And U.S. District Judge Timothy Brooks says the sentencing hearing will happen in about 4 months. Duggar walked into the courtroom Thursday morning, a free man facing serious charges, his wife Anna by his side. The jury returned for day 2 of the deliberations after deliberating for 4 hours the day before. At around 10 a.m., 12 jury members found Josh Duggar guilty of downloading and possessing child porn.
That this work is worth it. It is worth it because these are the types of cases that help us accomplish our goal of protecting the children in the communities of Western Arkansas.
The prosecution says they are happy with the jury's decision, while the defense says they'll file for an appeal, but gave no timeline of when.
We very much appreciate the jury's lengthy deliberations. We respect the jury's verdict, and we look forward to continuing this fight on appeal. We have no more comment at this time.
The DOJ calling it a win in the fight against child abuse.
Children who are photographed and videoed in manners such as this are the victims.
Adding that no one is above the law.
Regardless of their status in society, regardless of their wealth, regardless of their fame.
Here is surveillance video from inside the Washington County Jail as Duggar was escorted in following the jury's decision. And this is the latest mugshot as he was booked into jail, where he will remain until his sentencing hearing.
First and foremost shows that no person is above the law.
The defense says Josh Duggar's fame was a reason why many wanted him guilty and say there was reasonable doubt. Meanwhile, Josh's wife, Anna, was very emotional following the verdict. The family left the courthouse in silence. Erica, back to you.
All right, Micah, thanks. Receipt of child pornography is punishable by 5 to 20 years in prison, while possession of child pornography depicting prepubescent children has a maximum penalty of 20 years imprisonment as well. Now here's more reaction from Josh Duggar's family. Jill Duggar Dillard, one of Josh's younger sisters, released a statement saying she believes the jury reached a just verdict today and, quote, "Josh's actions have rippled far beyond the epicenter of the offense itself. Children have scars, but his family is also suffering the fallout of his actions. Our hearts are sensitive to the pains Josh's wife Anna and their 7 children have already endured and will continue to process in the future. This trial has felt more like a funeral than anything else. Josh's family has a long road ahead. We stand with them, we are praying for them, and we will seek to support them however we can during this dark time."